So, speaking of being ill prepared, battery went dead on my camera, but I had a spare battery. When I put the spare battery in, it said memory card full. I don't have another memory card. So, I switched over to my phone. I do have this little generic GoPro that never ever works. I could have tried it first, and that way I'd have had like triple the disaster, but the phone will do for now, I guess. It'll have to. Anyhow, I wanted to tell a little story. Uh, I don't know if you noticed in the last clip or if I cut it out, but my little 288 Coleman 288 lantern, little story behind it. Uh, I know Robert doesn't like the 288s. I won't say he doesn't like them. I just say he's not fond of them for some reason. But anyhow, a friend of mine had called me up and said his neighbor had some Coleman stuff he wanted to part with. And one of the things he had was a stove that I wanted, which is the J.C. Higgins propane stove that I showed in a earlier video. Anyhow, I went up, and it's an older gentleman, even older than myself, and in not bad health, but he's not in the best of health, and doesn't do any camping or anything anymore. And he starts dragging this stuff out of the garage. And I told him, well, I was really only interested in the lantern. I mean, yeah, in the stove, and he had a Coleman stove stand that I was interested in. Well, he starts bringing all this stuff out and lays it out, and there was like 5 lanterns, uh, 2 or 3 stoves, and and stuff. So I ended up buying all of them off of him. Um, he was telling me as he was getting these lanterns and stuff down, he had a couple commons, some 220Js or something, and stuff, and a couple a 502 stove, and another regular Coleman 425 or whatever stove. I'm not sure the number, but and he gets this one down, and he says, "This was my favorite fishing lantern," and he had painted it, as you could tell, the cap, the bail, everything, the vent, which turned to a milkish grayish green after it heated up, and he made a aluminum thing for the back, shield for the back. And he's telling me about all the fishing trips he took that thing on and stuff. And he gave me a super deal. Well, yeah, very good deal. And matter of fact, I gave him a little more than he was asking because I really wanted the stove and stuff, and I would have paid what he was asking for the stove alone. But anyway, uh, he said the only thing he wanted that was that if somebody that would use them and appreciate them a little more. His family wasn't interested in it or anything, and he says he just was cleaning out, and he said he'd like to get rid of them. So anyhow, he told me all these stories about all these fishing trips where he took this lantern. So yesterday, when I was coming out for the catfish tournament, I looked through all my lanterns trying to decide which one I was going to bring, and I seen that hanging there, and I says, it's about time for that old boy to make another trip. So that's why I brought it. And I used it last night, and I thought, well, I just burn her off a little bit this morning, let her hiss a little bit in the outdoors. So that's all. Just a little backstory on the lantern. It's been, the few times that I've used it, just like out here at camp and stuff, just hanging on a post for, it's works perfect. It really does. I've never, it's, and it's small, you know, it's about the size of a 200A and stuff, but I really like it. I appreciate him giving me the deal that he did to get it. But enough about the lantern. I just thought I'd throw that little backstory in. So I'm going to get on to making a proper fire and seeing what I can get into. Maybe do a little fishing. So we'll talk to you all in a bit. Like I said.